Hey guys, how is it going? Jade Cherry here, broadcasting on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Hello out there in the world. What a crazy week it's been here in the state of Connecticut. You know, the Constitution state. That's what we're known for. Although lately, we haven't been very constitutional at all. So I have a show plan for you guys. I wanted to start off with some of the hypocrisies that we find happening here in the state of Connecticut. You know, it's really quite interesting. The do as I say, not as I do kind of rule. But I wanted to start off with this little article. This was in the Hartford Courant. Let's take a look at this. The governor was right to impose fines for not wearing a mask, but is it enough? So this was out of the Hartford Courant, and that was published earlier this week. But take a look at this, guys. Check this out. So here they go on about the fine. The $100 fine for not wearing a mask is perfectly appropriate, and it appears necessary to encourage compliance. A simple and painless act that saves lives. The legislature could easily impose the same fine. No overextension here. This is the Hartford Courant. So this is the kicker. And I have the show notes. I'll put a link to this article in the comments for you guys too. But this is the kicker. This was what really got me. And I saw this being shared around the internet recently in Connecticut. So for people who don't wear masks, this is what folks in Connecticut are suggesting would maybe be a good idea, or it's totally reasonable. Check this out. Here this is, Hartford Courant. In part of Indonesia, people who were caught not wearing masks were punished by being forced to dig graves for people who had died of COVID. A $100 fine doesn't send as clear a message. Can you believe this? And it goes on further to say, it's unlikely that municipal police are going to swarm public places and hand out $100 fines to the maskless. Although they should make it priority, in the end, the choice really remains with the individual. That was the Hartford Courant. That article just blew me away, the whole thing. Like, at the end of the article, it's saying it's up to each individual and that it's unlikely that these municipal police forces will be, instituting any fines. I haven't gotten a fine so far. I do not wear a mask when I'm out in public. In the fall, I have a scarf, so I guess I could maybe kind of slip under the radar a little bit. Definitely getting harder and harder to be out there. I guess that's the point, to have it harder to be out there in the world mask-free. And I can't believe that this has become an issue where we actually have to fight for the basic right to breathe the air, where you can have here in the state of Connecticut a article in the Hartford Courant, talking about how in Indonesia, people were caught not wearing masks, were punished by being forced to dig graves. And that the people are applauding this. It blows me away. How is that ever going to be okay? Oh my gosh, it's so noisy over here today. So I have a video I want to share with you guys. Let me pull this video up for you. Actually, this is in Boston. So let me just get this. Sorry guys, you know what? I'm gonna play this other video for you first. Let me do this instead. This is actually not going to be in Boston. Let me come back over to here. This happened in Connecticut. So there's a group of citizens following the governor around the state. So I went out to Middletown yesterday where the governor was out. He was in Middletown at a Pegasus manufacturing facility. And so I got this little video. This is a clip of what happened yesterday with the Where's Neto campaign put together by a bunch of concerned citizens. And I want to just say this. It's concerned citizens throughout Connecticut. This is not a partisan thing. It's bipartisan here. People are upset and they come from different political backgrounds. So just to clear that up really nicely. And yes, people can get along from different political ideologies. I think the fact that there's so much fighting and anger about the presidential election is very sad. Really, really is sad. If people are so over the top mad about who you're voting for, you need to question your friendship with that person. But anyway, this is a clip of citizens from around Connecticut who are able to stand together coming from different political backgrounds, because you know what, guys? Mature grown adults can actually do that. And mature grown adults also understand that what the governor is doing in the state of Connecticut has a lot more impact on you right now than what the president of the United States is doing. So people can come together from all walks of life and support the cause here in Connecticut. Just want to clarify that, because folks will twist that up into a knot that isn't there. And I'm all about sharing and exposing what the real is, the reality is. So here is a video of citizens here in Connecticut following Ned Lamont around. So here we go.
The governor's state of emergency is over, and we're here to end it.
6 months later, we're still trying to flatten the curve.
He wants 5 more months of power, folks. 5 more months.
Look at the numbers, you're listening to the scientists. Well, we have a whole bunch of people that have been saying the opposite. Oh, but they're banned off Facebook.
Get up, Ned.
All the doctors that came out saying, oh yeah, this is good for everything.
It's moderately risky.
Tell me a little bit about what your life has been like since Ned Lamont locked down our state.
This is ridiculous. My husband and I end up, I don't know, just the mentality of the whole thing. I go into every store and all you see are faceless faces. Everything's masked up. I've had enough. My grandson will not live in that. They're done. And I will be out here every day screaming at him, every day. He doesn't have the right to do this. It's not in our Constitution.
And the people who represent us in the General Assembly have to assemble. No longer can they just stay home and say the governor won't open up our building. They have to go into their offices. They need to go into their house and make law.
Our legislative body doesn't even have the power to give him what he says they gave him as power. They don't have the power in the Constitution, they have certain duties that they have to perform. We have 3 branches of government. They each get their own set of duties. You can't just arbitrarily hand your duties off to another branch. It doesn't work like that. And our representatives, I'm furious with them. Any statute that they made to give away our rights without our consent, they all need to go. Every last one of them. Every one of them.
That's right. Hey, how are you? Tell
good.
me how life has been since Governor Ned Lamont took away our freedoms.
Well, freedom, that's what he's taken away. My sovereignty to make decisions for myself, taking all that away, taking jobs away from people, the ability to make an income so that we can support ourselves. They want us to all become dependent on the state. They are slaves. That's not going to happen. We don't want that kind of life.
What was that you said?
We are #1 in COVID death nursing homes per capita. However I said that. But he put everybody into the nursing homes. He gets away with it. Cuomo doesn't get away with, well, they get away with it, but people call him out on it. They don't call him out on it. He put sick people into the nursing homes, and we are #1 per capita in nursing home deaths. It's outrageous.
This whole lockdown affected your life in Connecticut.
Well, I'm a bartender, so
Oh, man.
for months I couldn't work,
Oh, man.
and so that sucked. And then I have a almost 3-year-old with, she gets pneumonia, bronchiolitis every year. I don't want to put a mask on her. I would never. And I tried to call her doctor's office for an exemption, and they're like, we're not doing any, so basically tough cookies. You know, and nothing makes sense. They have people coming into restaurants and bars with their mask on. If people see it, they call 211 and report it. If their masks aren't being worn, they come in and they take it off and they sit inside and they all share the same air anyways. And then half the time they leave their dirty masks on the table, on the bar, masks that they've been washing 1,000 times or not at all, touching credit card terminals, pens, whatever else, and then you put it back on your face. There's no, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
So I took that video yesterday in Middletown, and so there is a group of citizens following the governor around, and you can follow the Liberty Rally for more information on that. Aaron McCool, he's done a lot of work. He's got a public page too. He's the one with the megaphone. And the lovely ladies that I interviewed there, just kind of telling their story about what life is actually like. Because you know the media is ignoring us, just like our governor here in Connecticut is ignoring us and ruling us by fiat. And what that means is that he's making these executive orders with his little team of industry insiders. I'll be live with Victoria Eloise tomorrow, and we'll be talking about the Lamonts, our favorite villains, and getting into all of the corruption with Annie Huntress Lamont. I want you guys to think about her, and I want you to look into her. There's all this information, and you can do your own digging. Annie Huntress Lamont is one of the founding members of Oak Healthcare FinTech. That's Oak, HCFT. And when you start to peel the layers away from the state of Connecticut and see what's going on, like following the money, you find a very disturbing trend. And it's something that we need to talk about. And the media is never asking these questions whenever you have these press conferences, and I'll be there. So today, Ned Lamont had a press conference. He's giving the peasants, us people, a bone. He's going to let us open up. And guess what he said? Or open up to stage 2.8, or how is it? Somebody put that out there. I thought that was a good analogy for it. Or stage 3, whatever arbitrary stages he's making up as we go along this COVID 1984 train. So he said today, we earned it. We've been doing so good. Okay. Anyway, anyone with any understanding of microbiology knows and understands a virus is going to virus. A virus does what a virus does. It's not the governor that's doing something that's stopping a virus. You're not stopping a virus by, I'm not going to say that word, because anytime I mention that word, the video gets totally pushed down or shadow banned in Facebook, because the censorship is real, folks. So what I found from today's press conference, the amount that I could handle watching it before I felt like throwing my phone across the room and screaming at the top of my lungs, is he's talking about free sovereign citizens earning their freedom. Okay, like that just doesn't, it just sends a really, So he said the state of Connecticut is buying flu shots. He's going to make it easy for everybody. You know, you could go get a flu shot. So one thing about the flu shot, it's not very effective. There are a lot of side effects with the flu shot. Before you go off running to CVS to go get your free flu shot, make sure you are fully informed, that you have full informed consent, and you make a very educated decision, that you know and understand all of the risks that go along with free flu shots. And we'll see how the legislature does when he calls back in a special session. It was rumored to be happening this week. Obviously, we're almost to Friday, and no special session has been called as of yet. As it gets closer and closer to the election, I'm skeptical on whether he is going to call a special session at this time. I'm just very curious. If anybody has any information on lowdown on when a special session might be happening, I mean, it very well could. It could happen in October. I thought it was going to happen this week, and it did not. So, Ned Lamont the state of Connecticut is purchasing flu shots. Just let that sink in. The state of Connecticut is purchasing flu shots. That's such a noble and wonderful thing. We give flu shots away to people. But it's not. It goes like follow the money. So I'm going to be doing a dive on finding out who Connecticut is buying those flu shots from, and if there's any connection to Annie's Oak Healthcare FinTech company, like there is with Sema4 and Thermo Fisher and Josh Cabal, the Chief Executive Officer of Connecticut, who is Governor Lamont's right hand, who also was, or still is, we're not 100% sure. He was made VP in like 2019 of Thermo Fisher. Thermo Fisher created a test here in Connecticut that's been widely used, and it was reported to the FDA to be giving a high false positive ratio. I discussed that in a live video last week, and there were show notes in that. So you can go up to my YouTube channel where you can see all of the shows, and I put the notes also in the YouTube channel. If you're not watching on YouTube, you could go and subscribe there. You can also visit my website at J Cherry Presents. Here, I'm gonna put this. I got all fancy, guys. I got this here. There we go. So you can subscribe at jcherrypresents.com, because I'm very concerned about being able to stay in touch with people and continue sharing these stories with Facebook's new policies that are coming to effect October 1st. And this is even going to affect music. And we're going to be doing more music as we go through, and we got this new studio that we built, and I'm really excited about it. So we're going to have some live music. We're going to do the Middletown Music Festival streaming, unfortunately. I'd much rather be able to see people and hug people and dance around in the fields, all this amazing music being created in the state of Connecticut. But unfortunately, that's just posing too many problems and hurdles for us to do as a small nonprofit organization. So we're just going to stream it. So please, if you wouldn't mind, follow me over at jcherrypresents.com, where I send out a weekly sometimes I'll send out a few more if I do a video that I want to really share. I'm not going to send you too many emails, but you could subscribe there. So let me get on to this video. I'm going to jump out of here, out of Connecticut for a little while. Let's go take a ride over to Ohio. I wanted to share this with you guys. So take a look at this. This is a video. Oops, let me get rid of this here. This is a video. Hold on a second, guys. Sorry about that. This is a video of a mom in Ohio. She's being harassed for not wearing a mask. And she gets arrested for not wearing a mask.
This is over a mask. It's not. I don't know. I don't think you can arrest her for not wearing a mask. This is not a warning. Call the cops, Reagan. Yeah, will you talk to him? I don't know if he's a real officer. Is there police on the side and on the back? I don't need anything. But he may be, Bridget, because there's a cop car over there. There's a cop car over there. You need a water bottle? Tase somebody over a mask. Tasing this lady over not wearing a damn mask. Arresting her for a mask, not wearing a mask. He got one on.
Hey, where's your mask?
Never wear it back together now, right guys? We've done this how many times together? That's bullshit.
Wow. So, that was, that's Ohio. That was a mom. She was there to see her son's football game. And she has a medical reason why she cannot wear a mask. She was tased and arrested for not wearing a mask in the state of Ohio. So when people say it's just a mask, it's more than just a mask. You know what it is? It's not even the mask. It's the mandate that is the problem. It's not the mask. So when your government is mandating health procedures over your sovereign body, that's a big damn deal. That's a big deal. I mean, this woman was there to watch her son's football game, minding her own business, sitting with her family. I applaud her for standing up and giving those cops a hard time. That's not what the cops are supposed to be doing. She wasn't violating any laws. This was the state of Ohio, and this woman was arrested for being at a football game watching her son. Okay, her 12-year-old son. Can you imagine being hauled off to be aggressively manhandled by these two individuals because you are not wearing a mask? No, it's not just a mask, okay? It's a problem. It's the mandates. It's the government who is turning into something unrecognizable in the United States. The Republic. Okay, the Republic of the United States, to which it stands, okay? We stand together as a republic, a free nation of people. That matters. There's nothing to be ashamed of, to want to fight for your freedom and your constitutional rights. Anything that tells you that that is something to be shameful of is rotten propaganda. And just to let you guys know, and this is not what this show is about, and I should do a full show on how the government propagandizes the population, how that can happen, how we are being propagandized by our mainstream media who does never put up all sides of the story, like different experts off of the TV that talk about masks, talk about randomized controlled trials where masks are not statistically proven to be effective to stop viruses. I mean, come on now. If you have an understanding in basic microbiology, you would know that wearing something over your face, going like this over your face to go to the grocery store, all it does is make it hard for people to understand what you're talking about, okay? This is what it does. Look at how it changes my face. Look at the whole total definition. Could you imagine me standing here like this trying to have a conversation with you? Can you hear me? Oh my gosh, I breathe in and then my basic ability to breathe is blocked. And you've got governments mandating this and people getting arrested for not wearing a mask. So it's not the mask. It's the mandate that is the problem. If you want to wear a mask, hey, I don't think anyone should harass anyone. I believe that people should live and let live. But when we see a mom being arrested for sitting at her son's football game, being aggressively arrested as if she's some kind of criminal, and she's sitting with her family, breathing the air like she has done a million times before, and she's walking away and she's, you know, talking to the people that are there, like filming it and like looking on in shock, like, you know, haven't we done this a million times before? So this is very disturbing. And I wanted to continue on. I had another thing I wanted to share with you guys here that was really disturbing. Hold on while I get this up. Actually, so this is a video that I took earlier today. Now, I'm going to play just a few minutes of this video. The reason why I feel like this video is important is because we have a real economic crisis on our hands with this lockdown. We have a really, really intense economic crisis. So let me pull up this video and give this, unfortunately, is it not going to let me blow it up? Okay, here we go. I'm going to blow that up. So I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'm going to actually fast forward through a little bit of it. Let me get, okay. You can see there's lots and lots of cones here. I was here back in April, and yeah, these are the lines. So this is the food pantry. This is at Rentschler Field. If you want to make a donation for the food pantry, you can do that at FoodWorks. They're the ones that are supplying this. So as the governor continues to keep our state in a lockdown place, what the reality is food lines, okay? So maybe you're okay right now, and that's good. Good for you. But there are a lot of people in Connecticut who are not okay right now. They're not okay. There's many, many people who have lost their businesses permanently. There's many people who are suffering because they've lost their jobs forever. So this is the food line at Rentschler Field. As you can see here, the cars just keep streaming in. This is open 3 days a week. People in our state are hurting, and we need to know and understand this and see it for what it is, because it might feel all good to see those TV commercials about staying home and staying safe. It's not the government's responsibility to keep us safe. We are responsible for ourselves. So forcing a business to close and telling people they can or cannot go into a business is overreach by the government in an egregious, scary manner. So this is Rentschler Field, East Hartford. I'm here a little bit late. I wanted to try to get here early. So the food pantry opens, I believe it's 9. Okay, so let me just
3 days
pause.
a
Sorry
week.
that now that's going on. Okay, pause that. So that is Rentschler Field. Now, somebody had commented on the video that I did, and I had gotten there late. I've been thinking about Rentschler Field. I want to share something else that's really important. I'm going to pull that link up to connect all the dots. So I was doing some research, just checking in on what our current unemployment rates are and what the financial health of the state of Connecticut is right now for the average people, for people like us, for what is going on in our state. So I jumped onto the Connecticut Labor website where I was looking at the unemployment rate, and it gives you a list by town and city, which I'm going to share that list with you, and you guys can go check out that link yourself. These numbers are really, really scary. The financial crisis that we are heading to with this governor ruling us by fiat, because he's just totally outside of the legislative body right now and ruling us by fiat, which is completely illegal and unconstitutional. And I'm going to harp on this a lot because we need to wake up to this fact. We need to wake up the sleeping giant. We need to get our friends and our family to hear this and know and understand how ultimately dangerous it is. The government has no ability to keep you safe. Think DDT, all right? Remember that stuff? Okay, think DDT. Think, how many things has the government said we're safe? Smoking. Perfect example. You cannot trust the government with your health. Doctors recommend Camel cigarettes. Okay, they sprayed children with DDT to protect them from bugs. Okay, this is not made up stuff. We sprayed glyphosate recently on our food. This is it just outrageous. So when the government says they care about safety but want to give you a free flu vaccine, your odds of getting injured by that vaccine are very high. You're better off, and this is my opinion, you can take it or leave it, and you should make all of your own decisions for yourself. I'm not giving you medical advice, and it's my opinion based on what I've read, on facts that I've read about the flu vaccine and on VAERS, the Vaccine Adverse Reporting, the Adverse Events Reporting System, VAERS, where the flu vaccine is one of the most reported vaccines for injury and one of the most compensated vaccines for vaccine injury. Vaccine injury is very, very real, and we can get all into that can of worms, but that's not all what this video is about. So I wanted to share with you guys these very sobering, and then go back in and share the screen with you. This is really sobering, so bear with me as I click out of here, and I want to get to the next link. So here is, okay, I'm sorry guys, I thought I had that. Oh, here it is. So this is the most recent labor data, and I'm a little slow here. So take a look at, this is August, right? So, and if I could blow it up for you guys, I'm trying here. See, let's get that nice and good so you can see that. So you can see that too. So here it is. We've got the August 2020. That's what's up there currently. So you've got the labor force of Connecticut. You've got the employed, you've got unemployed, and you've got the unemployment rates. We're at 8.2%, guys, as a whole. The state of Connecticut is at 8.2%. All right. Now, when we move down into towns like Ansonia, they have 11.1%. When your unemployment rate starts jumping into double digits, I mean, an economist is going to say, oh my God, we're in a crisis mode. This is getting really, really scary and very, very serious. These are people here. This is what is going on. And you look at the numbers, right? When you have this high unemployment rate, 1,000 people in Ansonia, you've got 8,000 people. Look at this for Bridgeport. Oh my God, what a nightmare. So Bridgeport has 12.6% unemployment. That has like doubled since I covered the unemployment rate back in April when I did a video of Rensselaerfield in April. It's like doubled. Bridgeport this is astronomical, guys. Okay, town here we got Bristol here at 8.6, almost 3,000 people unemployed. I mean, these numbers are absolutely staggering, absolutely staggering, and very, very concerning. The Danbury, 3,373, 7.2%. Here we got another high one, almost double digits. Derby, 9.7%. These numbers are exponentially rising at a crazy rapid rate. And this is very, very concerning. So where Rensselaerfield is in East Hartford. East Hartford is up to 11.3% unemployment rate. And I mean, I'm just like blown away by these numbers here. How many towns? There's Griswold too, a pretty high number, 10.1% of people unemployed. And Hartford, 8,000. Oh my God, Hartford, you take it home. Hartford with 14.6%. Hartford is our capital city. 14.6%. And these are August numbers, okay? Because we're now almost into October. So the Department of Labor is actually a little slow to the go to be sharing these numbers. But that Hartford has, look at this, guys. Hartford, 8,000 people in the city of Hartford are unemployed. That's staggering. That's concerning, okay? These numbers are extremely concerning. Here we go. We got 9.5% in Ledyard. And let's see if any more double digits. I mean, like, it's just insane. New Britain, 11.8%, 4,457 people unemployed in New Britain. Oh my gosh, 13.6% New London. Just incredible, incredible. Norwich, 14.4%. These numbers are awful, guys. This is really horrendous how the people in our state are suffering. And when you go, and I'm just looking for any of the shockers there. I think Hartford takes it home with, Hartford's going to take it home with 14.6% unemployment. I'm just pulling that number right back up here for you guys. I mean, that's like, we should do a meme on that. New London at 13.6%. Let me get Hartford there. Sorry about that. I had a little interruption. So let me get Hartford back up here. Where did that go? Here we go. Hartford, 14.6%. 8,000 people are unemployed in the city of Hartford. These are staggering numbers. So I'm going to be going back to Rensselaerfield. Somebody was commenting on the live video. I did that earlier today. I got there kind of late. I had been meaning to get up there for a while and had some time today, and it was on the later side. But somebody commented that it's really, really crowded in the morning. So what I just showed you, the footage I showed you, was what it was looking like in April. So it was about 11:30 by the time I had gotten there. So I plan on going next week. It's open 3 days a week, and it's sponsored by Food Share. So if you are in a better position than some of other folks here in Connecticut and you wanted to, you can make a donation to Food Share. They had a lot of volunteers there. That's the part of this story that gives me hope. When you see people helping each other, that's a beautiful thing. And I applaud that. And when I go there to film, I'm doing that to share what's going on, because we need to know these facts. We need to know and understand what other people in Connecticut are going through, and the staggering numbers of the unemployment in double digits. When you look back into history, And you look back at the Great Depression, we are like in those numbers, guys. These numbers are staggering. Food lines and closed businesses. So I was driving in Middletown the other day, and I was really upset to see one of my favorite local retailers close up, Tesoros down in Middletown, gone. And I just felt like, oh gosh, you know, I've just felt like, ugh. You know, and I'm driving around and I'm seeing it more and more, especially in the city of Middletown. There's a lot of empty storefronts. It's been like that for a while, but it's only going to get worse. And, you know, the economy matters. It's not something that's just simple. People need to have a means to be able to pay for their life, to feed their families. I don't want to see our state dependent on the government. I don't want the government to keep me safe or pay for me to live. I want to be a free, sovereign human being. I want the government to butt out of my personal life, stop taking so much of our tax money, and reining it in. And like I say that, I know there's going to be people, oh my God, you're so conservative, you sound like a Republican, and blah, 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 blah. And what it is an understanding of physical sense, and an understanding of what freedom and liberty mean, and an understanding of how the government does not always have your best interest, and it becomes a big bureaucratic blob of blah. I mean, seriously, the government is buying flu shots. So the government takes over things, and it does it by fiat, and is all just inertia with bureaucracy. And I'd rather be free. I'd rather be responsible for my own welfare and well-being and be free. And what that means is not mayhem. That's what, you know, our foundations are. And though we are not perfect, and no society is, the freedoms that we've had in this country have been phenomenal. And we need to fight for those basic, simple freedoms that get the government out of our life. No, you should not be mandating healthcare practices to people. And not all of us are the same. You should not be mandating masks. You don't even have the science to back it up. You sit there, I'll drive by and I'll see signs that say, science is real. Of course science is real. But the science they're dishing out to you on TV and the government experts, that's industry pharma propaganda science. Let's look at science. Okay, the science does not support the masking of 3-year-olds. The science does not support the masking of the general public. Okay, the science isn't supporting this lockdown. When you look at the numbers and you see what the risks are, when you look at the numbers for being injured by a flu vaccine, which they're now aggressively trying to push, the science doesn't support that logic. But that's not the science you're seeing on TV. That's not the science that you're hearing in certain media outlets, because maybe it's not TV that you're getting your information from, but any of the mainstream outlets are giving you a pharma-funded science. There is tons and tons of science. You want to go find science, you can find real hard data and science. PubMed is a wonderful resource to go look up about masks and read randomized controlled studies and look at the methods of those studies. There's lots and lots of scientists coming out now who are standing up and standing against this type of draconian, tyrannical country. And it's global, okay? This is not just the United States. This is a global effort. I have friends in Australia that are struggling and fighting as hard as they can to maintain and hold on to what little freedoms they have left. And we're seeing this all over the world. You know, it's like pretty global how they're wanting to control the entire human race. I mean, you got Bill Gates talking about how he wants to vaccinate 7.5 billion people, and that the only way we're going to go back to normal is with a COVID vaccine. And I have a whole article by John Rappaport I want to share with you, but I'm not going to do that in this video. I'll share that another time. John Rappaport is an excellent journalist. You can follow him on Twitter. He dots his I's and crosses his T's. He's not messing around. Great. Let me go back here real quick. Let me just pull it up. We won't go over the whole article because it's heavy and dense, and I don't want to like overwhelm you guys, but I just want to turn you guys on to John Rappaport. If I can pull up his article. Let me see if I could do that. Sorry, guys. I was busy today sharing a lot of information and my internet is running slow. So John Rappaport wrote this article. Let me share this screen with you. It's worth it to share this right now while we're on this topic. Are you guys seeing that? Let me see. Hold on, here we go. All right, so let me just show you this picture. This is pretty wild. I can't help myself, but I just got to show you guys this. Look at this. Look at the hypocrisy right here. Here you go. Fauci. So here he is. He's got his mask off. He got to throw out the pitch. And there he is, maskless. And, you know, there's this lady here in Ohio being arrested for being without a mask, trying to watch her son's football game, not near anyone, just sitting with her family, minding her own business. So there you go. Is this the United States that you want? I sure as heck don't. So let me share this. Here's more. This is Football Mom. So, Ohio football mom tased. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that aspect of it. Not only was she arrested, she was tased and arrested for not wearing a mask at her son's football game. Crazy times. That was Ohio. Okay, so I want to share, there's the video that I shared with you guys earlier. I just want to pull this up. This is John Rappaport. You can follow his blog at nomorefakenews.com. And we'll just go over this article real quick. It's not that long of an article, and I think it's so important to share, especially as this COVID vaccine starts to become more of a reality. So let's take a look and see if I could blow this up for you guys. So here it is. It's the clinical trials are doomed to fail. Fatal design flaw. New York Times opinion piece exposes all 3 major clinical trials, which is pretty interesting when the mainstream does let some of this stuff out into the public realm. Of course, it's not on the front page. It's an opinion piece, but you can read this full article yourself. I wanted to pull out this quote. According to the protocols for their studies, which they released late last week, a vaccine can meet the company's benchmark for success if it lowered the risk of mild COVID-19. Oh, what happened here? I'm sorry. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I had a issue there. Let me get this back for you. Hold on a second. There we go. So let me pull this back here. So let me get that here. So according to the protocols for their studies, which they released last week, a vaccine could meet the company's benchmark for success if it lowers the risk of COVID-19, but it was never shown to reduce the moderate or severe versions. So to say that a vaccine works, okay. You know, this is just nuts. So to say that a vaccine works should mean that most people no longer run the risk of getting seriously sick. And that's not what these trials will determine. And this is John Rappaport. You can go on to this blog yourself, John Rappaport, nomorefakenews.com. I highly recommend following this page and checking out John Rappaport's work. He's done extensive coverage on the testing. He's doing extensive coverage on the vaccines. And I'm going to close out now because my husband's trying to call me. So, so John Rappaport's blog, No More Fake News. Check out that article. And we really are not meant to be governed by fiat. We have 3 branches of government, a constitution and a Bill of Rights for a very good reason. And we cannot let a virus steal all of our rights and freedoms away. Stay strong out there in the COVID-1984 world.